How do you find folk? Welcome back to the channel. We hope you guys are all enjoying your week so far. We got a big rant from xQc on esports and how expensive it truly is. We're going to talk a bit about this one. Make sure to leave your comments down below. As he said, it is massively and way more expensive to get into gaming and esports than people can even imagine. He mentions games like League of Legends and CS very briefly, but I think talking about esports as a whole, as he says a number like 5 million won't get you very far in esports. Now we're talking about dozens and tens of millions of dollars is what it would take for him to, want to join a game and be competitive, which may not be too far off. And he thinks it's just, it doesn't make sense.
I want to buy an esports team, yeah, definitely. Fuck. I wish I could own like I wish that fucking mainstream big esports just get off the pedestal to make the barrier of entry better for League of Legends and CS, because the operations are like 10 times the price that they should be. The overhead cost and cost for overall operations for esports teams is, I still think to this day, like literally 10 times more what it should be for those tiers of teams. And it's what I wish I would own a tier 1 team, but I don't think you guys understand the loss. Like, we're not talking about like a couple million. Imagine thinking that I give a fuck about losing like 5 mil on a team. I don't give a fuck. 5 mil, whatever. Brother, we're talking in like 20, 30 mil, and it's draining over and over, and it wouldn't stop draining. Like, it's not just 5 mil. We're talking about dozens of millions. At that point, that's too hardcore. Like, I can't justify that. I don't give a fuck when people call me schizo when I said that I know shit.
And this is really interesting. When I think of xQc, I think of a guy who probably has plenty of money, but to a certain degree, I can't argue with him because we all know esports, as it stands for most organizations, most months out of the year, it is not a profitable venture. All these companies are still trying to figure it out, and they're still trying to eke their way around the scene and what games they actually want to be in. It doesn't make a lot of sense for an individual creator or streamer to try and navigate these waters because it's going to cost them all a very pretty penny. Although I do have a lot of love for those creators that are trying it. You look at someone like Moist Critical, joined by Ludwig as well with Moist Esports, and even they have had extreme difficulties as of late to maintaining rosters and spending a lot of money just to be in the scene. And when they have, they've made a big footprint, but is it still a big enough footprint to make sense financially? Probably not. You look at Disguised Toast. All of his videos in esports are talking about all of the money that he is melting in the scene. Right now, I believe between two or a few rosters, melting $1 million a year. It's crazy. You look at Ninja, what he did for a short period of time in Valorant, fielded his own team and roster, including himself, and he paid the salaries out of pocket. All of these people are losing money just trying to be in esports, which I do have so much respect for them doing. But if you're xQc, even though you have loads and loads of money, why would you do it if no one has done it and proven that it can be done correctly yet? You know?
And I have a vision for stuff, okay? You can go back into the VOD and look at it, okay? And I have literally said that the industry was struggling, right? Even before the Overwatch League days, everything was struggling, and the only way to bring back actual good esports and to further the interest of esports was through watch parties, was through co-watching, was through possible even live betting with live viewing, even though this is something that we're not going to agree with because you might think it's degen. It is, some of these things are at the core, some of the most social things that we as humans do. Such as going to the bar and watching football games, okay? You can digitalize that experience online through creators and watch parties and make that the next big thing, but they're doing it at a turtle pace. And I said that like 10 years ago, and they're only starting to do it now and last year with like Terex watch parties, and then Valorant is opening up, and then League watch parties with creators, and they're opening up, and it's slowly expanding, right? Oh yeah, own a pixel now, sure. But that is the biggest block that would loosen up that tight financial hold that there is on esports, and I could revolutionize it if I was at the helm or whatever, right? But then I'm sure there's a bunch of things that I don't understand as an outsider, like sponsors, brand recognizability and other things. I think the way to do it would be to risk a loss and go full send on it, and whatever you damage, it is what it is, right? And to try it, because if it works, it'll accelerate the growth at rates that are would outpace the loss. That's my current analysis. But fuck, who the fuck do we know?
And a lot of this talk around way back in the day, he was actually going to sign, I believe it was Turtle Troopers in the Valorant space, and ended up falling through. And I think part of that is probably maybe a mishandling on xQc's end of maybe not realizing the management that is required to run a roster in esports, which is, it is what it is. But even now, it seems that he is interested in trying to re-enter some esports out there, but he says it's still just too expensive on paper does not make any sense, which I can't really argue against it. He probably has had proper conversations with proper people to determine if he wants to join, obviously, a franchise league. That's tens of millions of dollars, not to mention salaries and travels and all that for these players. And even if it's not so franchised, you look at CS, North American orgs are pretty avoidant because it is difficult to be in CS. When you got to field a roster, not just, of course, pay their salaries, but then they're probably going to be in a different country for a majority of the year. And how does that make sense? So that was xQc's ramblings on esports profitability. Apparently has not gotten any better, and that is why he has not had an esports team or owned and operated an esports yet. But I hope he does in the future. That would be really cool to see. And especially when we have these streamers making so much money, it is really cool to see them willing to give some of that back to the community when they certainly don't have to. And I would love to have X, and I would certainly support any way I could. What do you guys think about this? xQc statements on esports, profitability, and all such things gaming. Till next time, hope you guys all enjoy. Drink that water and coffee, all right? And I'll see you back here soon. I'm not leaving this hotel room all week. I'm not leaving my room.